Okay, Mastery Assessment 15-5, page 300 in the textbook. This one is a little bit tricky. What's happening when I try to open up your files is I cannot see your other projects that you supposedly have imported in here. Because when I go to click on them, excuse me, when I go to click on them, it's coming up asking me to find the file. Okay, so when you do this, you have to make sure that you do this correctly, import everything correctly, and save it correctly so that if you needed to email it to somebody else, you have done it correctly. So what I'm going to do is I've already renamed my 3 items. So I'm going to go ahead and open these up. So the first one is going to be the HR interview schedule. Oh, and one of the things that I had to do is I had to save this to my computer. I usually save everything in the OneDrive, but it wasn't working. So I ended up just saving it to my desktop because I was getting an error message that told me that when you're using web locations that it wasn't going to work. So I went ahead and saved them to my desktop. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and open up the office remodel. Okay, and then the last one I'm going to open up is the employee orientation. All right, so now I have all 3 projects open. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one new project with all 3 of those in there. So instead of having to go and try to look at each one of these separate, we'll be able to look at all 3 of the project inside one project. Okay, so how we're going to do this is we are going to come over to where it says view, okay, and we're going to go to new window, and then I'm going to select all 3 of my projects that are open. Okay, so the first one's already selected. I'm going to hold control down and select the other 2, and then I'm going to say okay. All right, now what you see here is you're going to see all 3 of the projects. There's 1, there's 2, and then there's the third one. Okay, and this is what I was not seeing on most of your projects when you submitted them. All I was seeing was the little P for the project icon, but there was no data or anything in there. Okay, so now that I have all 3 of these, notice that it opened it up and named it Project 1. So it actually put all 3 of those into a new project so we can see them all at one time. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save it. So I'm going to do File, Save As, and I'm going to go ahead and save it on my desktop again before I put it up because I want to make sure that I get them all together and then I can upload them to my OneDrive. So I'm going to name this Halloran Trimble Consolidated and save. Now, when you get this message, it's prompting you to save all the changes. Well, we want to say yes to all because we want to make sure we get all 3 of those files into one. Okay, so now I have my Halloran Trimble consolidated and I can see all my data, all my tasks and subtasks that came in from those 3 projects all in one. Okay, all right, now we can go ahead and it says to hide the task mode column, which of course those are automatically scheduled tasks, so you can just go ahead and click on that column to highlight. Just right click and say hide column. And then it says to do auto fit, and all you have to do is just get this double-headed arrow and double click, and it will adjust the size of the column to fit everything in there. So it goes down and finds the longest name and adjust the column there. And you can do that to all your columns. Of course, you can just drag these little lines over. I'm going to pull that one back a little bit. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and show this on the Gantt chart, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and click on my zoom, and I'm going to say that I want to see the entire project. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and now you can see it went ahead over here and is moved us over to the timeline view in the Gantt chart view, so that we could see the whole project. Now this might look a little bit strange to you here, but notice that these are only minutes or hours, and that's why when you see these start to finish, they're not very long at all. But then when you come over here, here's was the second project that involves 47 days. Okay, and it's starting on March 18th, and it goes all the way down through May 21st. And then here's our project number 3, and you can go ahead and scroll over a little bit to see that, and you'll notice that these are a little bit small as well because they're only half days and maybe 1 days. Okay, so this is what it should look like when you submit it to me. I should be able to see all 3 of these projects just like this with all the data. And I'm going to hit save to finish that out.